Do you ever just feel unstoppable? Hi, my name is Samra Abuselbi. I'm the host of the show Super Awesome You. And every single week we cover things like motivation, goals, some of the science behind that stuff, and why we act the way that we do. You can find more of us at Super Awesome Mix on Instagram. And if you have a moment, please consider leaving a 5-star review if you enjoy the show and share it with a friend. It means a lot and it helps other people achieve their own goals because everyone deserves that. So this week's song of the week is appropriately Unstoppable by Sia. It is a feeling that I love when I have it, and I'm sure that there are times in your life when you feel unstoppable and you tell yourself, I'm unstoppable, just like she repeats in the song. And it really made me think about the topic of affirmations and the power of telling yourself these words, like, and aligning and identifying with these words, such as I'm unstoppable and I'm powerful and I can do this. And really, the magic that happens whenever you start to repeat these things to yourself, almost like a mantra, right? So, some people hear the word mantra and immediately, I don't know, like their brains shut down and they don't want to hear anything more about it because they have this image and this stereotypical idea of the type of people who have mantras, or maybe mantras just seems really far out to them. And I get that. I understand. That was me for a very long time until I started to use them myself and understand a mantra is basically just something you can repeat to yourself to kind of give you strength. And I think you'd find that there's probably examples of mantras all the time in everyday life that we say to ourselves without even realizing that they are one. But I think they have a lot of power. The reason they have a lot of power is because they reinforce a narrative. So we've talked about manifestation on the show before, and I've talked about some of the science of what I believe kind of drives manifestation to work, which is that you're kind of training your brain at this idea that this thing exists and that you can have it. Because whenever your brain, let's say you close your eyes and you really visualize having the thing that you want, achieving your goals, thinking about your dreams and living in that space, your brain more or less doesn't know the difference between that dream state and reality at that moment. As I said on that episode, that's why dreams can feel so real whenever we're asleep, because our eyes, if you are lucky enough to have eyesight, like our eyes are just projectors into our brain, and then our brain interprets what it sees, and we view that as reality. We call that reality, but in fact it's just data. And so whenever you close your eyes and you imagine a world where you have everything that you want, you're feeding it a different source of data. And that data is like an internal projector that you're creating. And so then that's why I believe manifestation works, because again, you're training your brain to believe that this is achievable and that you can have it and that it's already yours. There was a meditation led by LeBron James in the Calm app that I really love, and he talks about the mindset of a champion. And he shares this little anecdote about how preseason he's, starting to train and warm up, and people ask him, "Oh, are you training for the season?" And his reply is, "No, I'm training for the postseason, training for the championship." That even before the season has begun, he's not playing for, those first couple of games. He's playing to win the whole thing. And that he needs to have that mindset of a champion every single day that he shows up. Because ultimately, if you want to be a champion, then be a champion, right? Tell yourself you are one from the very beginning. And that becomes rooted really deep inside of you, so that whenever you are faced with a choice, you're not making the choice of, oh, well, I'm Sammer and I've never really won anything before. And who am I to try to win something? And I'm weak and I've never done this before. And so I don't know. And you waffle a lot and you go back and you kind of negotiate with yourself and maybe talk yourself out of the right choice or the choice that progresses you, because now fear is stepping in. And I'm sure you've had experiences like this. No, none of that becomes true, right? Like you throw all that away. And instead I'm like, I'm Sammer, I'm a champion. And here's what champions do. Champions go to the workout. Champions put in the miles. Champions don't let small excuses stand in their way. If like the weather is, 5 degrees too cold, like that's okay. You have warm clothes you can wear. You'll be fine. you know, like that is the champion mindset. Those are what like all the Nike ads and videos and human interest stories are all about. It's like people who don't let the roadblocks stop them, or the speed bumps even. They might not even be roadblocks. They may just be speed bumps, like just minor inconveniences, and they don't turn them into roadblocks. So that's why I really like affirmations and mantras, because you are creating the narrative that you start to believe. We are a product of a bunch of data input. We get that data from friends and family, and hopefully, you are in a loving environment where people prop you up and they support you and they believe in you and they tell you all these wonderful, kind things. Like, if that's true, be really grateful for that, because that's amazing. And unfortunately, not everyone has that kind of support network around them. But you also need to be your own cheerleader. And as we've talked about on previous episodes, we are often our worst cheerleader, and we can be so mean to ourselves and so degrading and demeaning. But if you are kind to yourself, that's great. You always have at least one person in your corner. You've got you. So telling yourself, I'm unstoppable, telling yourself, I can do this, telling yourself, I will do this, and repeating that whenever you are faced with daunting, long tasks ahead of you and the mountain is looming, and you don't want to tell yourself that you feel weak, and you don't want to tell yourself that you can't do it, because you'll start to believe those words, right? And the world is unfortunately filled with a lot of negativity and a lot of people trying to bring you down, and a lot of people trying to stop you from pursuing your dreams and all of that. So you do need to be your own cheerleader. Someone's got to believe in you, and often, ironically, the easiest person to believe in you is you. I shouldn't say it's the easiest. I would actually say it's the hardest person to believe in yourself, but it has the most power when you find a way to believe in yourself. And so mantras can be very powerful. I have started to tell myself whenever I'm on a run and I'm nearing the end of that run and I'm really tired, I have a lot of things I start to talk to myself and amp myself up. I don't let the voice of weakness step in, right? I'm not telling myself, oh, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I can't do this. Those thoughts appear, but I'm immediately putting a stop to them. And I'm like, no, I've done this before. I will finish this. I can keep running. I have absolutely everything I need to finish this run. Even if that means walking a little bit, even if that means taking a break for a little bit, I'm still going to finish. I'm still going to find a way to continue and grow. And I'm telling myself that and convincing myself of it. And I follow through and I feel great. There's no way that would happen if instead my internal narrative was, oh, I'm weak and I can't do this and no one can do this and I'm alone and all of these like negative things, because our brain is the source of a lot of input, as I said. And so if it's being fed negative input, it's going to believe negative things. So find a mantra, like this is a great song to play whenever you want to go start a run or do something difficult. Feel unstoppable. Feel that no matter what gets in your way, you believe in you. You will also find that when you believe in you, many, many other people are going to believe in you too. I'm sure you've had the experience of being around someone that is so confident in themselves. It's amazing. It's addictive to be around. Whatever challenge you throw their way, they figure it out. And even if they mess up, they're like, okay, that, like that's just life. And I want to be like that in my own life. And I've been really working on that, like telling myself I have the confidence, I have the capability, and that even if I mess up, even if I quote unquote fail today, there are many, many more days to show up and try again. Those are the types of narratives you should replace the negative thoughts with, and you will be amazed at how far you can go.